There is a secret buried deep within history, so dark, so corrosive, that it was never meant for the masses. Machiavelli knew it. He wrote it not as wisdom for the common man, but as a weapon for those who dare to rule. And now, you're about to hear what was never meant for you. We are told the world runs on justice, morality, fairness. But is that the truth, or the story you were trained to believe? Look closer. Watch how people act when the mask of civility slips. Betrayal, greed, cowardice, manipulation, these are the real currencies of human behavior. And yet, we hide this truth beneath polished words. Law, order, progress. Why? Because illusions keep you obedient. If the crowd ever saw how power truly operates, the system would collapse in chaos. The lie is necessary. Silence is survival. But think, how many times have you been manipulated without knowing it? How many choices have you made that were never truly yours? How much of your morality is just conditioning, designed to keep you harmless? Machiavelli whispered a warning. The strong survive not through goodness, but through control, through shaping perception, bending belief, and mastering fear. This is the secret that must stay silent. But once you hear it, you cannot unhear it. You will see the strings, and you will know who pulls them. Are you ready to have your illusions shattered? Or will you turn away and remain in the comfort of the lie? The choice is yours, but the truth is waiting. The anatomy of control. There are truths so dark, so venomous, that humanity has chosen to bury them. Niccolò Machiavelli did not discover them. He simply had the audacity to write them down. His words were not a guide for the virtuous. They were survival notes for the predators of this world, and a warning for anyone foolish enough to believe that morality is the force that binds civilization together. We like to think of ourselves as noble, as good, as creatures guided by conscience. Yet strip away the surface, peel back the skin of society, and something far uglier slithers beneath: fear, greed, desire, cowardice, betrayal. These are not accidents of human behavior. They are the blueprint. They are the silent architects of our history. Machiavelli understood what most are too terrified to admit. People are not loyal. They are not consistent. They are not reliable. They follow power. They submit to fear, and they betray when it benefits them. And so, he asked, why should rulers cling to virtue when their subjects do not? Why should the lion wear sheep's wool when the sheep themselves would happily trample their shepherd if it gave them bread? The mask of morality. Walk through any city. Watch how people talk, how they smile politely, how they nod in agreement. Each face is a mask. Behind the mask, something else churns: resentment, envy, hunger. Civilization is a stage, and morality is the costume. But a costume, no matter how elaborate, cannot change the nature of the actor beneath. Machiavelli dared to whisper what others suppressed. Men are ungrateful, fickle, liars, deceivers. They shun danger. They are greedy for gain. This was not cynicism, it was observation. And if you dare to observe as he did, you will see it too. Consider loyalty. How many people you know would risk their lives for you, truly? How many would protect you if protecting you meant losing their job, their money, their comfort? You may hope for many, but Machiavelli would laugh at your hope. Because when survival collides with loyalty, survival wins. Every single time. And so rulers must not depend on love. They must depend on fear. Because love is temporary, fear is permanent. The anatomy of obedience. Look closely at obedience. Why do people follow laws? Why do they pay taxes? Why do they march into wars that will devour them? It is not morality. It is not belief. It is fear. Fear of punishment. Fear of exile. Fear of standing alone against the crowd. Machiavelli's brutal insight was this: Fear controls more reliably than love. Love makes people loyal when it suits them. Fear makes them obedient even when they hate you. That is why kings and tyrants, presidents and CEOs all wear the same invisible crown, the monopoly on fear. But here's the darker truth. This does not apply only to rulers. You yourself manipulate with fear, without realizing it. Parents scare their children into obedience. Lovers guilt and threaten each other into loyalty. Friends whisper secrets that bind others in chains of silence. Fear is the skeleton of human interaction. Without it, the body collapses. Does this disturb you? Good, it should, because you are not immune to it. You are already entangled in it, the cringe within us. Humanity is not noble, it is cringe. We grovel before authority while secretly resenting it. We cheer for justice, but only when it punishes someone else. We crave freedom, yet we cling desperately to chains, because chains feel safe. We are, in truth, contradictory beasts. We admire honesty but reward liars. We worship strength yet pity weakness. We crave leaders who inspire, but we follow leaders who terrify. Machiavelli saw this hypocrisy not as corruption, but as essence. He understood that to rule humans, you must accept their contradictions and twist them to your advantage. Here lies one of his most uncomfortable lessons. The ruler does not need to be good. He only needs to appear good. Think of it. What matters more? To be virtuous or to be seen as virtuous? People do not open your chest and measure your heart. They see your gestures, your words, your image. If your mask convinces them, you can commit any act beneath it. Wars, betrayals, executions, all justified so long as the mask remains intact. Does this sound monstrous? Then look at history. Do you think every empire was built by saints? Or by those who learned to smile as they slit throats? Manipulation. The quiet art. Manipulation is not rare, it is everywhere. We imagine it as a villain's tool, a snake's hiss in the dark. But you manipulate daily, just as others manipulate you. Think of the compliments you give to gain favor, the lies you tell to avoid conflict, the way you exaggerate, downplay, flatter, threaten. Machiavelli revealed that rulers must perfect this art, not to deceive occasionally, but as a way of survival. Because the masses, fickle and greedy, are dangerous. They must be guided, controlled, deceived, kept occupied with bread and circus, while power consolidates in silence. Even now, as you listen, ask yourself, who is manipulating you? Politicians, advertisers, friends, family? How many of your thoughts are truly yours? Or have they been planted, whispered, repeated until you believed them? Here lies the most uncomfortable secret. Humans do not seek truth. They seek comfort. They want lies that taste sweet, illusions that soothe. And the ruler who understands this can feed them illusions forever, while keeping reality hidden. Why the secret must stay silent. And here we touch the heart of Machiavelli's darkest insight. The truth is too dangerous to spread. If every man knew that morality is a costume, that loyalty is an illusion, that obedience is born of fear, what would stop the world from collapsing into chaos? If you knew your leaders manipulate you daily, would you still obey? If you knew your loved ones are loyal only so long as it serves them, would you still trust? If you knew that civilization itself is built on lies, would you still live within it? Or would you burn it all down? Machiavelli's answer was silence. Better that the masses never know. Better that only rulers carry this poison in their veins. Because once the illusions die, order dies with them. And yet, here you are, listening, learning, feeling the veil peel back. You are stepping into a space few dare to enter, the place where illusions collapse and reality glares back with cold, bloodshot eyes. This is the anatomy of control. Masks, fear, manipulation, silence. It is not uplifting. It is not moral. But it is real. And those who deny it remain slaves to it. So I ask you, will you remain comforted by lies? Or will you stare into the brutal truth that Machiavelli left behind? Will you remain a sheep who trusts the shepherd? Or will you recognize that the shepherd sharpens his knife each morning? The choice is yours. But remember, once you begin to see, you cannot unsee. Once you hear the secret, you cannot return to the silence. And this is only the beginning. The machinery of silence. There are whispers in every empire, every court, every boardroom. Whispers that must never be spoken aloud. Because if the crowd heard them, if ordinary people truly understood how the world operates, everything would fall apart. This is the machinery of silence. Machiavelli did not simply write about power. He wrote about survival. He saw with clear, merciless eyes that human beings are not noble architects of justice, but frightened animals, easily swayed, easily deceived, quick to betray. He saw that order is not natural. It is manufactured, maintained not through morality, but through fear and illusion. And to protect that illusion, some truths must remain buried. Why the truth is a threat. Imagine if the crowd knew. Imagine if every person suddenly realized that morality is not universal, that it bends and shatters under the weight of survival. Imagine if people recognized that justice is not justice at all, but simply the shadow cast by power. Would they continue to obey? Would they keep working, praying, kneeling before flags and rulers? They would revolt. Chaos would bloom like rot under the skin. Society cannot function if everyone knows they are being manipulated. That is why silence is essential. That is why rulers smile in public and cut throats in private. It is not hypocrisy, it is survival. And here is the most unsettling part. You, too, prefer silence. You would rather not know how fragile everything is. You want the comfort of illusions, even if they are lies. Because once you see reality, the ground beneath your feet begins to crack. The predator and the prey. Every society has its predators and its prey. This is not metaphor. This is not poetry. It is biology dressed in politics. The predator understands control. He knows how to instill fear, how to manipulate appearances, how to hide claws until the moment of attack. The prey convinces itself it is free, even as it grazes in chains. Machiavelli taught that rulers must be both lion and fox. The lion, strength, violence, fear. The fox, cunning, deception, trickery. Use one without the other, and you fall. Only when both are mastered can power endure. Think of your leaders. Do they win because they are truly righteous? Or do they survive because they are predators cloaked in virtue? Do you believe the smiles, or do you feel the teeth hiding just beneath? And more importantly, are you predator or prey in your own life? Do you manipulate, or are you manipulated? The weight of silence. There is a reason the darkest truths remain hidden. It is not simply to protect rulers, it is to protect the people themselves. Most cannot bear to see reality stripped bare. They would rather live inside the warm, suffocating womb of lies. Consider loyalty. Machiavelli revealed its emptiness. People follow until it costs them something. Then they abandon. Friends betray, lovers cheat, allies switch sides. Is this evil? It is survival. And yet, if everyone admitted it, if everyone shouted it, human relationships would collapse. We maintain silence because silence allows trust to exist, even when it is fragile and false. Or consider morality. We speak of good and evil as though they are eternal. But look across cultures, across centuries, and you will see morality twisting like smoke. What one society calls virtue, another calls sin. What one ruler condemns, another rewards. If this truth were universally accepted, would anyone still kneel in confession? Would anyone still respect law? Number, that is why silence is necessary. That is why illusions are preserved. Humanity cannot handle the raw brutality of its own nature. The cost of awakening. But what of those who do awaken? Those who pull back the curtain and stare at the machinery behind the show. For them, the cost is high. They become alienated, suspicious. They see lies in every handshake, manipulation in every word. They no longer belong to the crowd. They cannot kneel at the altar of illusion. They are awake in a world that demands sleep. And so, many fall into despair. Some turn cynical, others ruthless. A few ascend to power themselves, learning to use silence as a weapon. But for most, the truth is too heavy. Better to close the eyes again, to slip back into the sweet, suffocating dream. Ask yourself, are you strong enough to bear it? Or will you retreat, clinging to the comforting fiction that goodness rules the world? Machiavelli's final lesson. At the heart of Machiavelli's work lies a brutal paradox. To survive, you must see reality clearly. But to preserve civilization, most people must never see it at all. The prince must hold the poison, but the people must drink the honey. This is why Machiavelli is both feared and admired. He gave us the truth, but the truth is dangerous. He told us the machinery is powered by deception, but to reveal that machine too fully is to risk destroying the world it keeps alive. So what do we do? Do we accept the lie and live peacefully in illusion? Or do we open our eyes, confront the darkness, and perhaps wield it ourselves? The choice is terrifying, and it is yours. Closing whisper. The secret must stay silent. But you have heard it now. You have seen through the mask, glimpsed the predator's teeth, touched the machinery that hums beneath society's skin. The question is, what will you do with it? Will you pretend you never heard and go back to the comfort of illusions? Or will you embrace the silence, sharpen your mask, and step into the shadows yourself? The predators of this world are watching. They always are. And now you know how they think. Final call. If you want to hear more of these truths, if you dare to step deeper into the shadows, then stay with us. This is only the beginning of Machiavelli's warning, and the secrets of human behavior go further, darker, stranger than you imagine. Do not look away now. Subscribe before you lose your nerve, because the silence is breaking, and once you hear the next secret, you will never return to the dream.